Hey guys, what's going on? So in today's video, I'm extremely excited because I'm trying out a new Indonesian boot brand today. So these boots are from an Indonesian boot company called Imperium Footwear ID. So as you know, I've been collecting boots from Indonesia for probably a couple years now. I have some Renav goods, I have some Tahuras, I tried out Benzene. There's a lot of other ones, Onderhood, Santalum, which I'm a big fan of. Junkard company, but there's a lot. There are so many. In fact, my buddy Teik at Bootlosophy just got in some Fortis boots. I'll leave the link to that video in the description below. Teik is doing an amazing job with his channel. I'm really excited. He just crossed 2,000 subscribers, so go give him a look if you're not already. He's a gentleman and a scholar. These are some incredible boots. Once again, this is from Imperium Footwear ID. I actually got these second hand, so I did not custom order these, but the specs on these are just unreal. And when you look at Imperium's Instagram, they are really doing an amazing thing, really hearkening back to that Dutch heritage, the Dutch colonist heritage that basically set up their bootmaking industry into what it is today. Especially when I look at the different models that they've done. This is called the Imperium Footwear Indonesia. It's called the Grizzly boot. It's in Wicket and Craig buck brown traditional harness. It's got a Norwegian chain stitch in both dark brown and white. It's got a single midsole. That's a thick midsole, by the way. It's got a block heel. It's got a Dr. Soul's original red-brown cork half sole. It's built on the Caesar one last with a structured toe. I was actually talking to the owner at Imperium Footwear Indonesia. He's a very nice guy. His name is Kevin. He's very responsive. You can DM him on Instagram. He'll answer any of the questions you have. I know a lot of these Indonesian bootmakers, they're swamped. They're in over their heads with orders. So I asked Kevin where he got the inspiration behind the name Imperium, and he says Imperium means kingdom in Latin, and so in Latin, Imperium means absolute power. That's where the Imperium name comes from, absolute power. So let me talk about the fit. So these are built on a size 42, and the width was actually custom for the customer. This is a really wide boot. This is essentially sort of a bespoke boot. I have to say, this is like pretty bespoke for my foot. So like I said, this is a 42 in length, and it seems to be true to size. My toes come almost to the very tip, but then the width is almost perfect for my foot as well. My foot sits perfectly in these things. I do have a wide foot, and it's almost like this boot was made on my foot. The fit is so good. It's so comfortable. I'm really astounded by this stuff, by these Grizzly boots. So these are going to be a traditional mock toe design. So we've got 4 eyelets, 3 speed hooks at the top. The speed hooks are very hardy antique brass. They're not the type that will bend on you. It's got a rolled top at the collar here. Very nice touch. The back heel strip is very elegant curvature there. In the back heel counter, we've got a good structured back heel counter as well. It's got brown stitching and white stitching, double row. The stitching on the quarter is 1 row of brown, 1 row of white, 1 row of brown. The mock toe is a true mock toe. So we've got the apron here, which attaches to the vamp here. Probably the most striking feature about this boot, I have to say, is the Norwegian chain stitch on the split reverse welt that goes around here. It's double stitched Norwegian chain stitch in both brown and white stitching, and it is striking. And one thing that I didn't realize until my buddy Teik brought this to my attention was the difference between a split reverse and a storm welt. So I've actually been calling this all these little lips here that connect the sole to the upper. Whenever we have this little rim here, most people call that a storm welt, and in some cases it is a true storm welt, but actually this is called a split reverse welt. The difference there, these are my Santalums in hand marbled green veg tan leather. This actually has a true storm welt on it. The storm welt is actually a rolled edge. It's like a rolled lip That's probably the best way I could describe it. It's almost like the same thing as this rolled top collar here. Sometimes they'll finish the edges like through burnishing and such. It's still a raw edge, but then they wax it down. They smooth it out basically, but it's still that open edge sort of a thing. But then on this here, on the collar here, you can see that's a roll top collar. It's actually the leather folded over in on itself. And I do this with my bags too, on my carry handles. On my bags, I used to do just a standard strip of leather for the carry handle. Now I actually do a carry handle that's folded over in on itself, if that makes sense. And I actually put another strip of leather inside of it, so it's got a really good tactile feel when you carry it around. It's just a little bit more smoother, rounded out of a look. Looks a lot more professional, and it feels better, it looks better, but it's, you know, we're splitting hairs here. So anyways, this is a split reverse welt, and this is a storm welt. I'll try to get close-up shots to really show the difference there. That's boot nerdery on a whole other level right there. So yeah, so we've got 3 rows of stitching here, and it's 360 degrees. So yeah, the welting work here is just phenomenal. I mean, I can't even describe it. They did a good job on the welt joint there too. I can hardly see it. These are my Santalums in size 41. Now they use a different scale. I'm typically a US 9 Brannock. I'm typically an 8.5D in most boot brands. Size 42 in European sizes is typically my size, but every bootmaker uses a different scale. So these 41s are gonna basically be equivalent to a Viberg size 8. Let's get a size comparison there. Yep, exact length. So 42s on the Imperiums, 41s on the Santalums. And yeah, you can just see the difference in width here. Look at that. So these Santalums are built on a last very similar to the Viberg 2030 last. It's got an almond shaped toe. These boots are built on, it's what Imperium calls the Caesar 1 last. Very rounded out, basically a bespoke fit for my foot. If you want to know what my foot looks like, that's what it looks like right here. Imperium's 42, Santalum's 41, both Indonesian made. They do such a beautiful job over there. So yeah, we've got the very, very ever popular original Dr. Sole non-slip super grip. These soles are very popular. It's also the ones on these Santalums. Super cool sole, so beautiful. Just everything you want in a sole is right there. It's super hard wearing. Good luck wearing through these soles. These are probably some of the most durable soles I've ever walked on. What else I really appreciate about the Indonesian makers is they do not shy away from throwing in many layers of veg tan. And for me, the more leather beneath my feet, the better. They do not disappoint. They are very generous with the amount of veg tan that they incorporate into their soles. Just look at this thing, how thick and beefy that is. Oh, just incredible. So speaking of incredible Indonesian craftsmanship and sole work, these are my Tahura boots in Mariam olive horse rump, and just look at the sole. I mean, again, look at this ridge that they incorporated. These are just some of the most crazy boots I have, and just look at the aesthetic there. You really see the Dutch heritage in these boots. They really preserved that craft very nicely and probably improved upon it in many ways. They just look like something from the old world, you know, absolutely beautiful, stunning work. But yeah, you can see all the incredible welting and layers of thick veg tan leather here, also on an olive Dr. Sole. Yeah, very comparable on the sizing there. Yeah, I think the Tahuras are an 8.5E, if I recall correctly. But yeah, left boot, left boot. These Tahuras are a really good fit on my foot as well. You can see there. Look at that. These Tahuras are a phenomenal fit as well. Love it. These Indonesian makers, they're all just a little bit different. They're all doing something phenomenal by my estimation. No detail is spared on these boots, seriously. This is the bespoke route. And does the sizing always work out? No. My benzines, I've talked about this before, the sizing just didn't work out. The dimensions were good, it was just that instep. If you look at the benzine Chelsea, they build in a very large instep. This is my shoulder harness that I built for myself as a custom job for myself. And the straps here, I wanted to bring this in because I think the straps here, this is in what I believe is a Horween Cognac Essex. I got this from Maverick Leather Company, and I think that this Wicket and Craig Buck Brown harness is very similar to this in a lot of ways. From what I can tell, this looks like a vegetable tan. It's a very thick hardy, very firm temper leather, and just so gorgeous. Like the color really glows in the sun. It glows in all light. It's just that beautiful, like it's a little darker than a tan brown. It's really going to patinate wildly and beautifully. It's got incredible grain on it, incredible striations throughout the boot. A lot of really cool imperfections. It's such a hardy leather. So I would actually compare this Horween Cognac Essex to this Wickett and Craig Buck Brown. I have to say I'm blown away by the Wickett and Craig leathers that I've experienced so far. I'm working on some natural Latigo Wickett and Craig double wrap and single wrap straps that are available at dalesleatherworks.com if you're interested. I'm always wearing these cuffs in my videos. Here we have Oxblood double shot, and this is a Tochigi triple wrap, Oxblood triple wrap here. Very nice stuff. I'm a big fan of the leather wraps. The more leather on me, the better. All in all, 10 out of 10. Imperium knocks it out of the park. Let me go through some of their other models that I saw that were particularly striking. On their Instagram, there's one model in particular. It's called the LTT Monkey. The one that I'm looking at here is a natural vegetable tanned. It's got a flat welt, single midsole, block heel, Vibram 1100 sole, Caesar one last, structured toe. Just phenomenal. I really want a natural veg tan, a tall monkey boot like that. That'll probably be one of my upcoming orders. And then another pair that really caught my eye. They built a pair in Concheria La Bretagne in Cognac Ghost with added white wax, Norwegian chain stitch, dark brown and white, single midsole, woodsman heel. Those are just crazy. Those are built to be patina monsters. You know, they add that layer of ghost white wax on the outside, and that's just going to wear off over time, and just some of it's going to remain, some of it's going to rub off. It's just going to be an insane boot. Another one of their models I really like is their Hawk boot. So it's the Wickett and Craig Russet traditional harness, gusseted tongue, Veltshone, double midsole, Cuban heel, Caesar two last, structured toe. Those are insanely beautiful. I'm really becoming more and more of a fan of these taller boots. They also do engineers. They do all kinds of crazy models. They do Chelsea's. They do this really cool model that I haven't seen really done anywhere else. It's called the LTT Monkey, but it's got broguing along the vamp and along the back heel stay. Very cool. They also did a two-tone monkey boot. These are insane as well. It's called the Mustang. Burgundy pull-up and natural vegetable tan with a gusseted tongue, Norwegian, double midsole, block heel on the Herc last. Since Imperium derives a lot of their nomenclature from Latin, the Herc last probably harkens to Hercules, actually. Like this last, this is the Caesar one last. Imperium is a Latin word, so super cool. Everything they do is sort of in line with that Latin heritage. Their nomenclature is inspired and derived largely through the Latin etymology. I'm so impressed with this brand. I don't know what to say. I'm probably going to put in a couple orders with them, actually. I see a couple that I want to get on. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. What do you think about these boots? I am once again blown away by the Indonesian makers. They always do a bang-up job. So anyways, you can follow me on Instagram. My username is AeroSurferLV. I also just started my own shop, Dale's Leatherworks. I sell a lot of kilties. I sell a lot of cuffs. I can also do custom bags. So that's sort of my newfound passion. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see y'all in my next video.